Hey, what's happening, gamers? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. This is episode number 6. Hopefully you guys having a good one. The next stream after this will be the new Dynasty Warriors Origins, which comes out tomorrow. And we have 1 day early access, but only time to do one stream of it because, I'm just going to be honest, we're both kind of bummed that the game is no longer 2-player. They focused on more of a cinematic approach for the characters and gave them a dark, gritty look. And we're probably in for a massive change to what we're very familiar of the Dynasty Warriors franchise. And we've covered a lot of Dynasty Warrior games over the years, since probably like 2000 and I would say probably 2012. So we'll see what it is, but it's a bummer that it's only 1 player. But anyway, this is Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. This is a kind of remake of the original 2010 game on Wii. We're also doing a giveaway for this game, so hit up our first episode for details on that. You can always find information on that in the playlist, and we're going to be doing Chapter 6 next, which the game's going to continue to get steeper and steeper from here. We're not playing on the brand new modern mode. We are playing on the original, so this game has been spanking us pretty badly. So, true story, true story. The only major difference between this and hard, or what do they call it? What is the new mode? Modern mode? I don't know. Is you get 3 hearts instead of 2. It is what it is. I mean, whatever. So we're going to the, I don't remember where we are. We did the cave, we did the forest. So we would be where? Come on, game, let me know, because I don't remember. I do remember I used to have a really interesting intro as we were zooming into the Donkey Kong world. We did cover this game when it first came out on the Nightwing 01 channel back in 2010. We never looked at this game again because it was very difficult. We did do Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze twice. The first time when it released in 2014 on the Wii U. And then the second time when it released on Nintendo Switch in 2018. So this game is pretty old, and Nintendo didn't really do all that much for the Switch. But as you guys know, the Switch 2 will be releasing in 2025. My guess is summer 2025. If I had to give a rough estimate, I would say it's probably going to come out May or June of 2025. And Mario Kart 9 is going to be the big system seller with it. That'd be my guess. Stage 6. Switch time has passed. Yes, it has, but there'll probably be a Nintendo Direct in February for the remainder of the Switch games, and then of course in April is going to be the big Switch 2 showcase, which will probably be 40 minutes discussing the Switch 2, as well as they're going to have different places around the world that you'll get early access to the Switch 2 hands-on, which they'll announce in April. Of course, that means you can't pick up the system on you. Would be like just playing it. Most likely they'll partner with Best Buy again. Hi, Sweet Pea. It looks nice. It's very pretty. I know. Oh, I remember this level. I hate this level.
Yeah, I didn't realize how hard this game was.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been like that, though.
What's Cliff? I don't even know.
Cliff? It's just the name of the region. It's just called Cliff. Actually, I should write that. Because this is a Cliff zone. Cliff! Cliff World! I don't know. Add a little something to it.
When is the Cliff stream? Right now.
This is Cliff right now.
We're playing it right now.
Yeah, this is it.
It's happening.
In all its glory. In all its monkey glory. So both Dynasty Warriors Origins and Monster Hunter Wilds have like very gritty looks to their game this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't know. I was telling Amber on the break, I was like, I have a feeling that Dynasty Warriors Origin is going to have, like, a very, like, film quality to it. And the music is probably no longer going to be, like, the cool rock and roll, like, metal stuff that we're used to.
I want pretty music, though.
It's probably going to have pretty music. Chinese-inspired stuff.
I'm excited about it,
How
though.
in the world do we get off of this? How do we get the ooze off? How do we get it off? I'm all tarred! Oh!
I'm falling the tar.
I fell in the tar stuff. What do I do? How do I get it
I
off?
think it normally comes off.
It's not coming off!
No, this is just how you'll be for the rest of the game.
No, there we go. No. There we go. I have to ground pound. Alright, we're good to go. Yeah.
If the Switch one ends, you can at least port the games on Switch too.
Well, yeah, it's fully
hopefully.
backwards compatible. No, they did announce it, honey. So, like, all the Switch games, and they'll probably have, like, a special thing with telling you how you bring over your
Hopefully
account.
that will do the same they did on PS5, that they
Yeah.
moved PS4 games over on PS5. They were like, do you want to play the PS4 version or the PS5 version? Which was weird, because I was like, why would I want to play the PS4 version on the PS5?
Let me
Maybe,
have my PS5. Oh, no.
maybe if you wanted to save room, you could play the PS4 version.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that the Switch 2 will have better space, because the Switch 1 did not have the best space.
I like... It's like, why am I not welcome on the couch?
Nobody said you're not welcome on the couch, but you can't sit in Amber's spot. That's Amber's spot.
It's like, what is Amber doing? I exist. I am a person too, Link.
She does a lot of stuff. More things than you do.
He's like, I do a lot of things. It takes a lot of work to be this cute 24/7.
Speaking of cute, where's Zelda? Have you seen her? Is she hiding under the Christmas tree, or is she in the office?
I don't know. I guess I could
that's a
check
good
the
question.
office. As long as the office door's open. Pop, 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 pop. Have you seen her? Tell me, have you seen her? Whoa. Why,
Oh,
did you have to leave it?
Oh, okay.
Oh. Sorry.
No copyright songs. You know we're getting in trouble for that.
Sorry.
We need to make as much monkey revenue as possible. Don't need to have like weird celebrity people like. Don't do. So, what do you think is going on with the whole? Did you hear about the TikTok situation?
What?
Well, it's being banned on the 19th.
Oh yeah, I've heard. And
they've invaded the Chinese. There's a Chinese place called Red Letter, and
oh no.
yeah, the TikTok people came over to that, and at first China was like very welcoming of them, but then they started to do weird stuff that they normally do on TikTok, and they're banning certain aspects of that because they're like, in China we don't allow this stuff. So
Yeah, because Americans are crazy.
yeah.
I just watched, I was just upstairs while you were actually starting the stream, and there was a news article of a person, I think she was TikTok person, and she worked over 10 years to get her dream job, which was a flight attendant. She finally got the uniform. It was her first day of work. She had a 15-minute break. There is a rule against any kind of, you know, improper social media stuff going on in your flight attendant uniform. She twerked on her plane on her 15-minute break, on the job, in her uniform, on company time, and filmed it and uploaded it.
Oof.
And was promptly fired.
Yep.
On her first day of work after waiting 10 years to get her job. These people need to, like... And people are like, well, like, that's not fair, but she clearly did sign...
Terms of service,
she did
isn't it?
sign a... Yeah, it was the terms of service. It was Alaskan Airlines. They, in their terms of service, it says you can't film TikTok videos on company time, and you're not supposed to do improper things in your uniform and film it.
Right. So she could have still
violated two
done.
things.
She could have done her TikTok thing.
They even said that she could have twerked and filmed stuff off if she wasn't in her uniform and not on company time, and it would have been completely fine.
Right.
But she decided to do it on the plane in her uniform
Yep.
during work hours.
Yep.
when she was supposed to be cleaning the cabin.
Yep.
I was like, oh wow.
The thing is, too, she could have gotten a cosplay like uniform, like not of the Alaskan
It wouldn't be
airline.
the actual
Right.
uniform.
She could have done. People aren't smart.
At, like,
they don't.
Halloween
they don't do.
party or something.
They don't even do loopholes. It's like they're like, okay, we don't want you to do this.
Like
And then
they said,
what do
don't do it in the uniform.
No, because they were probably aware of what type of like content creator she was. And,
Well,
you
it
know,
was everyone had to sign that apparently. So
well,
it was
that's
just
that's
normal.
because like a lot of people did weird stuff during the the rise of TikTok, which TikTok really boomed during the pandemic.
But they've already had they had a woman that was fired for doing TikToks. She was an actual medical doctor.
Oh my god.
I actually watched, like, online, they had it on YouTube where she was actually going before a judge. She was fired, and she actually lost her medical license.
Oh my gosh.
And the reason was because there was patients that actually either died or got sick because she was too busy TikToking and dancing, and they actually didn't get their medicine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. That's the worst part of it, is these nurses and doctors doing it when they're supposed to be checking on their patients. And then I actually heard her say before the judge, like, I just wanted people to be happy. And it's like, but they're not happy if they're dying because they're not getting their medicine.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
why? Your job isn't to make people happy with dancing. You are a medical doctor. Like, how could you go to 8 years of medical school and not comprehend that you need to do your job?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how could you go to that many years of school and then not take your job seriously?
Makes sense.
So that's weird.
Messed up. Oops, I forgot to. Oh, prehistoric path is not bad. I remember this. Vaguely remember this.
Not all Americans are crazy, says GameWing. That's true.
Well, I can't.
Thanks.
I can't say the people that are being banned on China. It's not that all Americans are crazy. There's a certain group of people that had a very big presence on TikTok that are not allowed in China because it's illegal.
Dancing people.
No, dancing's fine. I can't say. There's certain...
I don't even know what you're trying to say, and I don't want to. That's okay.
That's fine, I won't.
I'll ask you later. If you want to tell me, you can mute the microphone if you really need to tell me.
Baba!
Oh, okay.
Prehistoric path.
I would, honestly, if I owned a platform in which there was dancing involved, if I saw a medical doctor or a nurse in a uniform dancing on their time, knowing that they need to be checking on their patients, I would ban their account immediately.
Why can't they just do it at home?
Yeah, like, why couldn't they just, like, be in their house and put their, like, little medical jacket on in their house and then show clearly that they're not in the hospital? These people show that they're in the hospital on the job.
What happened to green screens? Didn't there used to be green screens where you could put yourself wherever you wanted? Ooh.
Yeah, these people are like, they're crazy. Like, you should never do that at your job. Like, even I had a girl in my culinary class. Well, not the culinary one, but the baking class, the pastry class. And every time we had a 15-minute break, they're like, okay, let's go. You have to go over all your notes and decide what you're going to bake, for the next hour. And you're going to have to go through everything and try to prepare. And instead of her preparing for her next thing she needed to do, she just went into the cafeteria area, and then she just started dancing and recording it. And it was just like, these people are so obsessed with their dancing stuff. Like, they can't even... How are you supposed to focus on your school or work? Like, I don't know. I guess I'm an old fuddy-duddy, but I don't think it's... I think you should wait till you get home. Like, you should be concentrating on your job.
Green screens exist! You can go anywhere in the world with a green screen, and the technology has improved so much. Thank you for the super chat, Richard. Appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, remember, guys, if you need to get a hold of us, the best way is through super chat. Appreciate that, Richard. Oh, why am I so bad at this?
Did
Link
you...
and Zelda are breathtaking. I always walk in the most random conversations. I love it.
Thank you, Richard.
Appreciate the support, Richard. Thank you, buddy.
I can't believe you're breathtaking, Link and Zelda. You're breathtaking. Did you hear that, Link? Richard said you're breathtaking. Link says thank you. Zelda says I don't know where I am, meow. Thank you, David Gamer says keep up the good work and I'm rooting for you guys. Why do people do their TikToks on the job? Exactly, Thunder Dragon. And it's so many people get fired for doing it on their job. And that's the main reason they get fired, is the company usually says if you were doing this on your off time it would be fine, but you did it on your job time.
Did it on your
in
job
your
time.
uniform.
Hey, wait, there's no more, oh. Yeah, so just so you know, guys, we're done with the whole getting the letters. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so I mean, so many people get fired for doing that. It's like, you would think after a while people would start getting a clue that they can't do a dancing video while at work.
But the thing is, if it's in the terms of service, you have to follow the terms of service. You know? It's like,
Yeah.
if they have it written in the contract, hey, we don't want you doing this, but we understand that you do this at home, just don't do it because you're representing our company. And then people see that as, I'm being repressed, or I'm not allowed to do blah, blah, blah. But it's like, they gave you an out of when you can do stuff. You just, you know, it's not good enough for people, but it's like, it needs to be good enough. Because, I mean, when we started YouTube, they said very clearly in the terms of service that you couldn't be on other platforms, like,
Yeah.
and then they changed their
We've always
mind.
followed the terms of service, yeah.
It wasn't until during the
Whatever
pandemic that they said, yeah, you can stream at the same time as
Yeah.
YouTube and Twitch.
And then that's why a lot of people are like, why didn't you guys just do this? It's like, well, there was a rule against it.
We didn't want to lose our YouTube partnership.
A lot of people didn't follow the rule, but we didn't want to lose. I mean, I think that's the whole thing. I think that's why people do this, is like, they're thinking, well, everyone else is doing it and they got away with it. It's like, well, just because they got away with it doesn't mean you will get away with it. You know?
Dark Alexis. Hi, Luke and Amber. My favorite stream is your capture that you did back in 2021. Cuphead. Oh my gosh.
It made me laugh with my brother 100%. Sometimes it's hard and rage.
Oh, there was so
Thank
much
you,
rage
Dark
involved with that.
Alexis.
Yeah, there was rage. The Cuphead was a very big challenge for us to do 2-player.
Oh. Yeah, that was really hard.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing, like... That's the thing, is like, people always act like the victim, but they could have easily, like you said, there's so many other ways they could have done it.
I mean,
Like, they could've done it.
green screen exists. Green screen, you can go anywhere in the world, and that's kind of how YouTube and all this other stuff works.
I mean, that's part of being an adult, though. It's like, people always act like we, you know, are too, you know, like, oh, you guys are too rule obeying and stuff. But it's like, but it's like,
how dare you follow the rules?
It's not like I enjoy following rules. I just don't enjoy getting fired.
Yeah, I've been fired way too many times.
It's like, I just don't want a reason why someone could fire me. Like, you know, like, maybe everyone else got away with it, but then when you do it, they'll see your video, and then you'll be the one that's fired. So it's just, it's so much easier to not. What? What's the matter?
Sunday or Monday? That's fine. We could do the 19th or the 20th. I'm open for either one. So that's cool, Richard. And that's for Breath of the Wild, right? Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Dark Alexis, and thank you, Richard. Yeah, I feel that whole, like, the girl, like, I guess this girl who got fired after trying to get this job for 10 years.
Fired after one phone call.
Fired after one day. Like, she has a GoFundMe now because she feels like she was unfairly fired, but like, people are talking about it a lot and saying, well, they're looking at the terms of service of her airline, and they're saying actually in the airline thing she got fired, it said you couldn't do this on social media.
Yeah.
So, like, it was clearly written and she clearly signed it. So it's like, I think people just need to be more careful of the stuff they're signing. Like, when you get, like, you get hired and just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just sign all these papers, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you should probably read that, like... before you sign that. Like, read it.
Yeah. What I don't understand about the whole TikTok situation, if they were given heads up like for months, why didn't they migrate over to YouTube or Instagram where they have like those type of like programs?
Why weren't they preparing for the last 6 months knowing this was going to happen?
Exactly. And also, I mean, they could use a VPN to still use TikTok. Like, they could...
that is a huge point. I
mean, they may
honestly
be blocked in America, but it's not blocked in the UK, so you could still, you know, have your audience in the UK or other parts of the world.
That one girl that was complaining, I mean, well... That one TikTok girl, I don't know if you did you show me that or would somebody else show me?
No, I don't watch
Oh,
TikTok.
I watched the video on YouTube about this TikToker girl that was complaining, and she goes, I could not believe what she said. She said, I have $10,000 in bills every month.
Oh my god.
She said, I just got a new car. I just got a new house.
Oh my god.
She's like, I always eat out. I always have my food delivered. I have to have grooming for my pets.
Ooh.
I have, like, people that work for me. And then she's like, I have $10,000 in bills. And she's like, how am I going to pay these? And then she said, she was complaining about TikTok. And then she said, she goes, I can't work retail. That will not work for me. I will not be able to do that. It's like, but you said you have $10,000 in bills. You just bought a new car. And now your TikTok channel is banned, and you said you refuse to go work retail. Like, there are so many problems in what you're saying. And now she's like, she's trying to get, you know, she's not moving to another platform. She's not making videos on another platform and asking, you know, like for memberships or anything. She literally just did a GoFundMe, and she wants her former subscribers, even though she's not making any more videos, to just randomly pay $10,000 a month for her bills.
Sponsor her for nothing?
For nothing. She doesn't want to make any content, nothing. And
so
it's like...
does not compute.
You know, honestly, like, if I was her, I would at least, I mean, you know, like, there have been people that are YouTubers that have lost their channel, and they are now waiting tables. I mean, that is just the reality. Like, I think she just needs to hit the reality. Like, when I needed extra whatever, I was doing as a cashier at the grocery store while I was, you know, going to culinary and doing YouTube and stuff. It's like, she cannot say, I will not work retail. That will not happen. Like, because it will be, like, even if she denies that will happen, she's either going to go retail or work or be homeless. Like, she needs to take her car back to the shop. Like, the new car she bought, she needs to go take that back.
She needs to sell it.
She cannot have a new car and then have... Why was she not thinking about TikTok being like, why, if she's so rich, I don't know how, you know, whatever, I don't know what kind of money she makes, but it's like, if she's so rich that she has that much money in bills, which is astronomical, like, that's crazy. Like, you know, if she has that much, like, her bills should not be that much anyways. Like, nobody has that high of, like, that's crazy. Like, if it was like running a company in which you were,
I'm just trying to think,
if you were running computers, or if you were doing like even business internet or something, but like the amount of bill, like you could buy, after 3 months of that much money, you could have a huge down payment on a house, or you could even have a small house. Like, she needs to just buy a house and take her car back. Like, somebody needs to, like, financial counselor her and, like, tell her, like, you cannot have $10,000 in bills a month. This is insane. Like, you're crazy.
Nobody can have that.
Like, you cannot afford this. Like, nobody can afford it. And she just admitted that she eats out all the time. Like, all of these problems could be solved. She could just cook herself meals at home. Like, all of her bills that she's saying are vital are actually wants. They're not needs. Like, she's actually creating these bills that she doesn't need.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. Like, if you buy a new car, like, your monthly payment is around $500 to $600 a month, usually.
It depends on what kind of car you bought. Like, I don't know what kind of car she has. Like a Lamborghini. Like, what kind of car does she buy?
Well, when we got our Jeep, it was like 45 or whatever. And we ended up paying a monthly thing for 6 years at $690.
Yeah, I mean I would say that's a normal car payment, like $500 a month, or some people pay even less. Some people buy a used car for $1,500. They pay like $100 a month till they pay it off.
So I'm just trying to wrap my head around like how in the world you could have $10,000 in expenses a month.
They're not she's well, look at these celebrities that blow millions a month. There's celebrities in that they spend $2,000 on one outfit.
Yeah, I can't relate to the TikTok generation.
The kind of money they're blowing on stuff is insane. Like they don't need those things. Let's just be honest.
Well, yeah. Because I mean, even if you had like every streaming, and there are a lot of streaming things. Like most streaming platforms are only like $9 or $10 a month, depending on like who they are.
I mean, she probably has personal assistants that she's paying, and everything.
Yeah,
like it's.
Probably.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, so it's just these TikTokers. They're in for a rude awakening. I mean, reality is gonna hit them. I'm actually for me, like, for the fact that there are some YouTubers that their YouTube channel crashed and they went and they became like a waiter or waitress, and that's what they do now. I mean, actually, I respect that. It's like, you did YouTube, it didn't work out, then you went and you worked 9 to 5. I mean, that's just a normal thing. Like, that's respectable. Like, I mean, it's just normal. Like, doing what this woman is doing with the $10,000 a month expenses that she wants people to pay, that's insane. Like, at least, like...
Where was she located? California or something?
I don't know. She was like...
But I think the thing that annoys me, though, is like, how can you tell your audience that
you're not going to make any content?
Right. I can understand if you're like saying, hey, we need supporters on Patreon to keep doing what we're doing, but just to be like, pay me because you were once a fan, it's like, but you're not contributing anything anymore.
She's not making any more content.
Yeah,
exactly.
that I don't understand. Like, I would totally get, okay, yeah, she wants to have her people go to Patreon or something like that, and she's going to continue to do stuff that way and just get paid through Patreon. But
I guarantee you that person, like, with how entitled they are, I bet they're just going to go back to their parents' house and live with their parents. Because, I mean, that's the kind of person that sounds like to me. Entitled. There's no way they said they're not gonna work. They're just gonna go back and live with their parents.
Oh my god.
That's probably what it is. Hi Kwings, how are you two doing? Did you see the Switch 2 reveal?
Yes, we did.
Thank you, Nintendo Ken Super Yoshi.
We will be doing there will be a Switch 2 news video tomorrow, because you guys know I sleep during the day. Like, yesterday was a special thing because, like, we lost so much going to New York. Like, I was stunned. I was like, I've never seen that amount of channel losses for one day. I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So pretty much yesterday was like, Amber and I pushed ourselves more than humanly possible to try to make up yesterday. So there was more streams, there was more, the channel was more active than it normally is.
Can I change mine to be on the 27th, says Max?
Yeah, sure, Max.
Sure thing, Max. I just screenshotted you. And Miss Sienna said, Miss Amber, she is one of those many influencers that are entitled. Like, people that, they're like the people that give influencers a bad name. Not you two, though. You're more like content creators, which is a more respected profession.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Deanna.
Yeah, we like the
that.
term content creator.
That's why, like, that's why, like, I really like the fact that, like, I try, especially, like, our ultimate tier. It's like, instead of just, like, hey, be an ultimate and you'll feel good about yourself. It's like, no, it's like, be an ultimate and there will be a stream going on. Like, we'll do a stream.
We try really hard to fulfill
that. Because it separates when you actually do something for the amount, like, you know, even if obviously the people, you know, being members are very generous, and, you know, it's helping the channel tremendously, and we, you know, need them. It's like, at least you have to do something for, you know, you can't just say just donate for no reason. Like, you have to, you know, you have to put out the content.
Well, it's a business transaction.
You have to put out some kind
of
content.
They're not just giving you stuff because, you know, you're there. It's like they're trying to do questions, or they're trying to get the streamer's attention.
Yeah, or like, yeah, you do
there's a give and take. It's not like you just take and you don't give. You have to, like with our ultimate tier, like we try our absolute best to fulfill that agreement from the ultimate. Like, sometimes we don't get all the ultimates done because sometimes we have too many ultimates. But we always try to, like, do it the next month, like to do rollover and do the best we can. You know, it's a thing that we strive so very hard to do, because it's an important thing.
You know what it is? I mean, I'm not trying to do it like this, but I don't know. Now I feel like Luke's gonna be mad at me, but you know those people that are on the side of the road and they're in need of help, they have the sign.
Will TikTok for food?
No, and they have the sign where they're just like, I need help or whatever. But then you have those people that are actually selling roses, like they're like $1 a rose. And like, I don't know, it's like, it's interesting that they actually are putting an effort to sell something. Like, you know, I mean, it's almost better than just, I mean, I know not everyone can go get roses or whatever, but I'm just saying it, you know, it is kind of more respectable, like, almost when you're actually selling something, because you're just, you know, even though people can tell, oh, yeah, I'm paying $1 a rose is a little much, but, you know, at least it's something. You're, you know, putting an effort in. Exactly. So.
Somebody asking why I'm dying so much? I'm playing the hardest difficulty. We're playing normal. We're not playing modern mode. So, the problem with Donkey Kong Country Returns compared to Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is the game came out in 2010, so the difficulty was not scaled the way that it is today, like, you know, all these years later. So this is a actual re-release of this game with like a HD filter, basically. I don't even think it's an HD remake at this. It's like an upscaled HD tweaking. So the difficulty of the original game from 2010 is alive and well, unless you play the new modern mode, where they scale down the difficulty and they give you more hearts. So in the original mode, both Diddy and Donkey Kong only have 2 hearts. And the platforming as you get to the, you know, Chapter 8 and stuff like that, it's insane. The minecart stuff is nasty. I will beat it, it's just going to take time. Because, I mean, this is what platforming games were like, you know, almost 20 years ago. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, even like, I mean, I don't want to, like, keep harping on it, but, like, even me, like, I've really tried, like, the best I can to, like, you know, when YouTube was doing well, and I was like, oh, let's just get pizza and we'll work on this. Now, I would not think like that anymore, because my channel isn't doing as well. So, you know, I'm going to be making, you know, hopefully fried rice in the rice cooker, and having coffee in my fridge, not going out and getting it. Because, you know, you can't just, when your business is not doing as well, you can't just live the same lifestyle. You have to change. You have to change. You can't expect everyone to just, you know, you can't be like that girl on the video and be like, well, this is my lifestyle. It's like, no, your lifestyle needs to change. Your life is changing. Your TikTok channel's gone. You're gonna have to change. You have to.
Well, I don't think their TikTok channel's gone. It's just banned in the U.S. Like, that's why I'm saying,
well,
like,
I don't know why they're making a huge problem of it.
Because they're not as smart as us.
Wow.
They don't understand that VPNs exist, and you could always, like, you know, maybe I would have found a way of changing my account to the UK or something like that, so I'd still get paid through, like, PayPal or Patreon or whatever their payment system is. I don't know.
I mean, seriously, what you should have done as a TikTok, I mean, if you were making, I don't know how much they're making, I don't want to know because it'll make me throw up, but if you were making, you know, that much,
they would have made more on YouTube if they were smart. But
yeah, but their content is so stupid that it wouldn't even, it's a different kind of content.
Well, that's why I like that one guy, the Ohio Final Boss guy. He was really big on TikTok, but he always had a YouTube presence as well, so he'll be fine. Because he'll just, you know, he might make a little bit less money because he doesn't have the TikTok, but also he has the TikTok in Japan. So he's a TikToker in Japan.
I mean, you could have even taken one plane ticket to the UK or another country and gotten a P.O. box there and somehow gotten an address in that country and then somehow gotten a computer or like a, you know, VPN towards that address or something. Like, you could have figured something out to actually have your video streaming from another country at this point.
Let's use us for example, because we're pretty smart. So when YouTube was getting rid of YouTube networks in America, Amber and I were already with, and they got rid of what was known as like managed channels, and they forced everybody to be affiliate. We still managed to stay a managed channel for 3 years because our network was not in America. Like our income was being paid from Hong Kong. So like where all the American YouTubers had to be regulated to YouTube's new policies and less money and stuff like that, we had already moved our company over to China in a sense. Like we had been, or rather Hong Kong, it wasn't fully China again. So, you know, we had that, and then eventually we moved to the Philippines and we had our business go all over the place wherever the money was. That way we would, and then eventually, you know, now like everybody else, we're stuck through being a YouTube partner through YouTube's partner system. But before, like, for years, we had gone to whoever had the most CPM, whoever had the most, like, payment options. Like,
you know, whatever network said they would pay the most per 1,000 views.
Yep.
Is where we would go because, I mean, it just makes sense.
Yep, but that method doesn't work anymore, but it worked for years, so we would shop around for networks like every, probably like 3 years or something like that. And we would always go to the place that paid the most. That was what our loyalty lied in, was what, you know, we could use to earn the type of living that we wanted to earn based on how hard we worked. Because back in the day, you could make a lot of money on YouTube for making tons of content.
Yeah, it depends on, you made more money based on how hard you worked, but
it doesn't work that way anymore.
Yeah, but I didn't really like.
Oops.
Also, you had to get to different contracts because sometimes you were at a YouTube network for a while, and then they would take advantage of you, or they would start to like take more and more money from you, or they would start to try to alter the deal and try to tell you, oh, now
alter the deal.
I told you I was taking 10%. This year we're taking 20. Now we're taking 30, and like.
And when they did that, it was time to leave.
So sometimes YouTube networks would try to like screw you over. So then that's why you always had to try to leave to go somewhere else. But also, I didn't like some of them. I didn't like leaving, like especially the one we were in Hong Kong, but then YouTube deleted that network, so that was very frustrating because I just wanted I personally, even if it paid less, I wanted a network that I could trust, because some networks on YouTube you know, would do things like write in the fine print that, you know, they could take your channel or own your channel once you tried to leave, and so that was stressful. Like, you didn't even know if they were going to try to take your company when you tried to leave. Even our guy that worked for us for a while, or Tony, he worked for a company and a website, a gaming website, that the YouTube network stole their website.
Yep.
In the fine print, it said, oh, by the way, your website is now ours. And then they took their website because it was
Machinima did that.
It was legally fine to take it. See, YouTube networks are very shady. They try to take your stuff all the time. They try to take your videos. They try to take your website. They try to take your channel. Like, they'll try to rope you into something. Like, they'll be like, hey, we have this music library. We have this music library, an intro library. You can use all these graphics and music. And then in the fine print, it says, oh, by the way, every video that you use our background music on, once you leave the network, we own all those videos. So that's scary. Like, YouTube networks always try to hurt you.
Well, YouTube networks are extinct now.
Yeah, they're not around anymore, but they were, so that's why we left too a lot, because we would be there for a few years, and then then they would start to get crazy, and then you'd have to leave and try to find someone who's going to treat you, because they have to treat you normally for a couple years, and then after that they start being mean.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep. But the thing is, whenever Amber and I found out something bad, you know, we fought for our income, just like we did everything possible to survive the COPPA thing. You know, more so than any other YouTuber because...
Yeah, we changed all of our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We even took out the word, like a lot of YouTubers kept in the word family friendly in all their tags. We took that out of all of our tags. We also darkened all of our thumbnails, and we made sure that our channel looked like it was geared towards teens and above. Like, so it, you know, and we got hurt from that. All the other people that were doing family friendly stuff, they continued to be viral in the search engine with colorful thumbnails, and we weren't, because we did a different intro, and we made sure our thumbnails weren't colorful anymore, and everything. Like, we did everything we could to make sure we didn't appear like we were targeting towards younglings.
Yep.
And that actually hurt us in the search engine a lot.
Of course it did. In fact, YouTube, with their inspiration program now, they're like telling people all the time, you need to make flashier thumbnails, you need to have like clickbait stuff.
It also says in COPPA's laws that flashy, colorful thumbnails are against the law because they target younger audiences. So, yeah, so YouTube is always trying to trick you. Like, they'll be like, hey, make this really flashy thumbnail, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'll take your suggestion.
Made for kids.
Then you do it, then they start taking your videos, and then they're like, oh, by the way, you're making zero income now. Why? I took your suggestion. It's like, oh, well, I mean, well, unfortunately now your channel looks like it's made for younglings. So, yeah.
There's no gap. There's no gap!
Well, yeah, I agree, Misty, and I think there is a difference between people that take their job seriously, like they show up every day to their job to make content, to make videos, versus people that are, you know, like that girl on that video where it's just all about, like, I'm entitled to all this money and I shouldn't have to do anything for it because I'm so great. Whereas other people, you know, content creators are more like, you know, they're like, I'm going to show up every day and do the best job I can. And if if my channel's having a rough patch, then yeah, I'll ask for,
oh my gosh,
like help from subscribers or something. But in general, the whole idea of content creators is you're making content. You're not supposed to be just asking for stuff, you know.
No,
yep.
You have to understand with us is we always get 1 day early access to 90% of the games that we cover on this channel. So Dynasty Warriors does come out tomorrow, but we have access to it tonight. We would have had access to it earlier, but I was sleeping. I need to sleep. I'm getting older. I need to sleep more than 5 hours a day because Amber wants me around, you know, for a long time. So.
Yeah,
I gotta take care of myself.
It is like the Kardashians, Josh. You and Mr. Luke are making content as YouTubers by default. Yep, exactly, Miss Deanna. Hi, Savan. Hi, Jacob. Hi, everyone. And honestly, I mean, I think there are a lot of people on YouTube that, you know, that do work hard as content creators, like Abdallah, and there are a lot of people that work, they get up every day and they work hard. And I think they, you know, I think they do a great job, you know. I'd rather work on YouTube as somebody that, you know, has bloodshot eyes and, like, staying up late to, you know, complete a game video. I would rather do that than dance around on TikTok and do crazy stuff like that. I'd rather be a YouTuber than a TikToker. You know, that's all I have to say.
I don't think I can do this.
Shout out to Luke and Amber for Giga Chad doing normal mode, says Maximus. I mean, all of us are Giga Chads. Everybody who gets up every day and does their best at whatever job they do. You guys are all Giga Chads.
Because I'm gonna end up exhausting all my. I need to bring in. Diddy Kong. Can I have your controller, sweet pea?
Oh yeah.
Thank you. saying this. Once you get to chapter 6, it's all downhill. It's all you need Diddy. You need Diddy. Diddy has to be in it. Mwah. You need the extra hearts, man. No, I don't have it. No, I need the extra hearts. The joy of playing the second player is Diddy comes in, he can ride on your back. It gives you more abilities and also it gives you more hearts. So it's an important feature. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of death. I don't even know how many. Trayvon will tell me how many times I died. I don't know how many times I've died. A lot. Probably died 100 times in this game already. Maybe more. I don't know. I don't keep track of that.
Oh, thank you, Movies with Josh. Shout out to Luke and Amber for doing it every day. You guys stream or post every day. Thank you, Movies with Josh.
Yeah, streaming, posting every day. We've been streamers since 2015, I think.
But so, like I said, I mean, a lot of people work every day. Like my friend, I mean, even people that are, you know, that's one thing about being, as you grow up, you realize that even when you're not working, you're working because, you know, you're helping your family with things, you're taking care of yourself by going on walks in the park, you're, you know, as a mom, you're taking care of your kids, you know, like, as you become older in life, there is no days off of life because you're always doing something every day. When you're a kid, you can take a day off, but as you're an adult, there's no days off in life. Gradually, you have less. There's really no days off. Maybe like, you know, maybe one day or something. But
the most thing that I'm thankful for about the whole YouTube thing, and that Amber does it with me, is that I get to spend a lot of time with Amber compared to most couples.
When we first got married, we hardly saw each other at all, and that was really hard. Like, we'd go to work, we would carpool together. We did carpool. Either Amber would drive me to my job or I'd drive her to hers because we only had one car. And then we would see each other for dinner, and we'd go to sleep, and we'd go to work, and that was it. And then with the whole YouTube thing, it gave us the ability to be together like 24/7. And some people thought we were really weird because they're like, how can you stand being together so much? It's like, well, what do you mean? It's way great. Better than being apart all the time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sometimes we fight. That's normal. It's like, just because a couple fights sometimes, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It's just fighting is another part of communication.
That's true.
It is true. I mean, it's not fun to fight, and we don't like doing it, but I mean, it is going to happen when you're around each other so much. But I'm very thankful. That's the best thing. Besides being paid, that's the best thing about YouTube, is I get to spend time with Amber more than anybody else. So I like that.
I agree, Misty, and I also had similar. Technically, I didn't really get days off as a kid either due to how we got homework assigned on the weekends. We had extracurricular activities, and my sisters and I had a bowling league we were on Saturdays, and we had church on Sundays. Oh wow, Misty, yeah, that's a lot. I have to say, I did have days as a kid where I could just sleep all day till the afternoon, but sounds like you were very busy, Misty. That's really cool. I did have a lot of extracurricular activities, but some days, I know there was some days where I got to sleep. I don't remember what days those were, though.
Maybe Saturday?
Maybe. My favorite vlogs was when you guys were going to GameStop.
Oh, yeah.
And in Arkham. Oh, thanks, Movies with Josh.
The GameStop stuff. No hearts. This game is cruel.
Well, I mean...
Whoa. There's no
being around somebody 24/7, it's like you might be like, oh, I'm around this person 24/7, and it's like hard because they're, you know, like I don't have any personal space. But then, you know, when they're not around, you miss them, and it's like, oh, well, I guess it is kind of nice having them
We
around.
do stuff like not together all the time. Like we're together for like a lot during the day, but Amber and I both have, like, Amber likes to
I like to listen to books on tape upstairs.
yeah, she goes into the office and she'll either take a nap or I'll hear her listening to Poirot, I'll hear her listening to the Bible. She goes downstairs and plays her piano sometimes. I like watching anime on my phone or on the TV.
Yeah.
Amber doesn't. We don't watch the same shows, which is fine. I mean, we don't have to. Just because you're a couple, it doesn't mean you have to do everything together. She also likes going to the park. I don't like going out, so Amber goes out. There's lots of stuff that we do as separate individuals than we just do as a couple. But, we do spend a lot more time than most couples because we're in a blessed position because of our job that we get. Like right now, we're like right next to each other. Got our arms are touching, and we're just kind of sitting next to each other and just talking about stuff. It's a lot of fun. Now because I have Diddy Kong, I'll be able to do
we're
this.
like an old married couple.
It feels like we have the joys of what a retired couple gets to enjoy. Like we had so many years of that, which is I'm very thankful for. Because when my grandparents had 60 years of marriage, and they worked together for like 30 years. Like after they both like finished their respective career. Like my grandma was a telephone operator, like from the Great Depression through the Korean War, and she retired, and she became a full-time mom. And my grandfather was in the military, and then he was a police officer from 1946 until 1983, the year I was born. And then from 1980 until 2006, he was a hot dog vendor, and my grandma and him did the hot dog business together. For that amount of time.
I just came here. Are you guys playing co-op? Sort of. Nintendo Ken Super Yoshi. It's kind of hard for me to get off of. I'm playing as Diddy. Technically, as you can see, like there's my little life bar. But if Luke plays with me on his back, then a little Diddy Kong on Donkey Kong's back, then he has a little bit more life, because if I die, then he's still alive. And also he gets the jetpack benefit if I'm on his back.
There is the jetpack benefit, yes.
So sometimes I'm getting off sometimes, like as little Diddy Kong, like I can get off and run around, but then I have to go back onto his back basically. But in parts of the game I can get off and do my own thing, but a lot of the game I'm on Luke's back, on Donkey Kong's back.
What is that?
Oh, yeah, we are. Oh, sorry about that. I'm sorry, it took me a while to read. He said, all right then, ignore the super.
No, it's fine.
Thank you for the super chat.
Super chat helps a lot. And again, if you guys have like a very, very burning question that you need to ask us, we do see the chat from time to time, but super chats is the easiest way, because our program where we're live streaming tells us that people have contacted us, or GIFs. Because when Amber and I talk a lot, we don't always see the chat, because like especially when we're in a conversation that gets like really wordy, or I don't know the word to describe it. When we get really into discussing something together, it's not that the chat becomes invisible to us, but like to tell us that something really important is happening. A super chat is the easiest way to get hold of us. I think that's the easiest way of saying it.
Yeah, like sometimes we're focusing on the game, so we can't see the chat while we're both focusing on the game.
I'm terrible at platforming games, so I mean, there's that.
Yep.
That took so long. I lost so many lives.
Yep. Yeah, we thank you, Miss Tana. Yep. Yeah, we do love each other very much.
Oh, but yeah, without a doubt. 6'5".
Should post some videos on the piano. Do you do Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven. I did just get some. Luke got me some sonatas in a book for Christmas. I don't have a lot of music. I don't have a lot of music books. Thank you, Maximus. As you guys will always be the sweetest couple on YouTube. That's very kind of you.
Thank you very much.
Yep, we do love each other very much. We do love each other very much. Except you're not married as long as my parents. My parents are the definition of an old married couple since they've been married 33 years. My dad is going to be 65 tomorrow and my mom is 62. Congrats.
Congratulations. No, we're not an old married couple yet. We haven't even been married 20 years yet. Soon.
We did not fight on Sonic Unleashed.
I don't think so.
We did not fight on Sonic Unleashed at all. We never fought on Sonic Unleashed. That's not true. We were not fighting on that stream. Luke was getting upset at the game, and I happened to be in the room. He never got upset with me.
No, yeah,
we never fought. That wasn't we weren't fighting on that stream. Luke was yelling at the game, and I happened to be in the room. Luke never got upset with me, and I wasn't upset with him. We were not fighting on this game at all.
Yeah, I get mad at games.
Luke was just getting mad at the game.
If I might ask Amber to stop talking or something sometimes to concentrate, but I don't think I've had where I get zoned into the game and I yell at the game, and Amber doesn't like that and she'll leave sometimes, or sometimes she stays. It depends. Like, it doesn't bother her as much as it used to. I get very heated with games because I do have gamer rage. I mean, I've had gamer rage since the 80s. It's not gonna go away just because I get older. The difference is, the only reason that I'm more chilled, it all depends on what type of game I'm playing. There are very few games nowadays that will actually make me mad, unless they're really badly made. For the most part, I think most of the games that we pick to cover on the channel, there's hardly any, like,
yeah, rage. I mean, like, do you guys know, like, I was actually trying to help Luke out on that game. I was trying to figure out how to help him do the ending. I was actually helping him do the ending.
Yeah. But I'm not very good at Sonic games, so rage with Sonic is pretty even trade-off.
I think most people would rage at that game. Just because Luke is getting heated on a game and I happen to be next to him doesn't mean that he's upset with me. He's upset with the game.
I get more upset with the cats biting me than I do Amber. Not that Amber bites me, but, I mean, not often.
The only time when Amber and Luke are fighting each other is when they're playing fighting games, says Max.
Yeah, and we're not really... Amber's talking smack sometimes, but it's kind of cute. I never understood why she talks smack when she's losing, but...
I'm trying to make it funny.
It's what she does.
Luke was just saying that we have disagreements in real life, but we try to keep that off camera.
We try to.
Only one.
There was one instance where I hit mute the game instead of mute the microphone, and we were dealing with a very stressful life situation that ended up kind of public, but not really. People still don't know what we were talking about. But
I was stressed about something that had to do with family, so it wasn't even. Luke hadn't even done anything. I was stressed about something with family, and so, like, yeah, exactly. People don't really understand what we were talking about because it wasn't supposed to be. No one was supposed to hear that.
I thought I hit the. I streamed so much that
I needed to talk to Luke in the middle of the stream. So.
Yeah. I thought I muted the right thing, but I didn't. And then people were like, "Oh yeah, we heard you guys arguing." It's like, "Oh crap." But I mean, I think we did pretty good because all the years we've been streaming for almost 10 years, and we were able to keep like a lot of stuff private. So I'd say that's a pretty big accomplishment. Most streamers mess up like all the time with their wives and girlfriends and their kids and pets and things like that. So we try to have as much of a professional thing as we can. But Amber and I are also a married couple, so it's not like we're just co-hosts. Like we're a married couple.
I think what Luke is saying is like, if you disagree with your spouse or significant other, and they say like, hey, is it okay if 50 relatives come here tomorrow for Christmas? And you're just like, and you don't want to argue with, so you're just like, yeah, that's fine, I guess. But in reality, you're dying inside because you don't want that to happen, because it's going to be horrible, and you can't cook for that many people, and you can't afford that, and you have no idea where they're going to stay, and it's going to be horrible because you don't, one of the people is really mean. And instead of arguing with your spouse, instead of saying, no, that's not okay, I don't want that, I need you to hear what I'm saying, this isn't okay. Some couples, they won't do that. They won't talk it out. They won't say what they're really thinking. And that's why Luke is saying arguing in a way is good in marriage, in a way sometimes, because you really do need, like, if you're really uncomfortable with something, you really do need to tell the other person that you don't want that. Like, you can't, the kind of marriages that end up ending are the ones in which you never, like many marriages in which people don't argue at all, they end up ending.
One fight and it's over,
because they're so afraid of having a disagreement that could get heated that they just pretend like everything's fine for like years. And then when there's one problem, then they just end their marriage. And that's not healthy. That's what Luke's trying to say. It's like, you should sometimes have, you know, an argument once in a while, because, you know, if you really don't want something and the other person really wants it, you do need to talk that out. Even if it gets heated, you have to say what you're really thinking. You have to.
Honesty is important.
Because say you disagree with each other and you're just like, well, if you don't move to California, I will never speak to you again. Well, if you don't move to New York, I will never speak to you again, because it's my home state. Well, I don't feel comfortable living here. It's my home state. And then you go to separate rooms and you just think about it for a while. And then after you pray about it or sleep on it or whatever, then you come back and you give each other a hug and are like, you know, we'll work something out. We'll pray about it. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out a compromise that works well for both of us. And then you realize that you obviously don't want to move to the other state without that person. Even if you don't get to move to the state you want to move to, you still would rather have that person in your life regardless. Even if they're, quote, winning or they're getting their way and you're not, you would still...
Did you just say winning?
You still would rather be with them, even if they make you frustrated, than you being without them. Then that's what you realize after, you know, getting into a thing with them. And that's why having disagreements in marriages is actually a good thing. Because then you actually that's working it out. Because, you know, being married is actually very difficult. Because you're two different people and your wants and needs are moving in two different directions.
The Batman Begins stream. Everybody always reminds me of the Yeah, somebody said something horrible about my wife and I went nuke. And people say I have a dangerous temper because of that.
Everything about being married is about two people that are usually opposite, that end up spending almost 24/7 together. And you're going to have, like, even at night, like, you know, like Luke and I have slowly compromised about night, but it's like, at the beginning, the first day of our marriage, I was thinking, this is not going to work out, because Luke's laughing loudly to anime, and I'm used to it being completely quiet. Luke has a fan blaring in my ear, and I don't like the fan. Luke has the temperature extremely cold, and I only like it warm. That's what marriage is. It's like you live with someone who's the opposite of you, and every day is a potential argument. So that's why they say marriage doesn't make you happy, it makes you holy, because you learn to get along with someone that's completely opposite of you, and it does make you a better person. Being married makes you a better person, because if you can learn to get along with somebody who's so opposite than you, then you can learn to get along with anyone. Then when you meet the post office person or whatever, and you're usually like very, you know, like say, you know, like before I got married, I was pretty impatient person. Like, you know, oh my gosh, this person didn't get my order right. I'm so upset. Now, being married, whatever. They can do whatever. It doesn't matter. Because I literally live with a guy who laughs at anime at night. I mean, at least the post office man isn't laughing loudly about anime while I'm trying to be there. So, I mean, I'm just joking around. I
do
Luke.
wear headphones.
I love Luke very much. I know, Luke actually wears headphones now.
I wear headphones.
But it's like, being married teaches you to accept people for who they are, not for who you wish they would be. That's the problem with like celebrity marriages and stuff, where they're like, oh well, we had irreconcilable differences. Well, I hate to break this to you people, but that's what marriage is, irreconcilable differences. That's the whole point of it. You're supposed to take irreconcilable differences and then you're supposed to reconcile them. That's the entire point of marriage. That's the entire point of it, is you take differences that are irreconcilable and you work on it for a lifetime of learning to reconcile it. And you don't always have to get your way. Like, you may be like, you know, I don't like how the temperature is, you know, 59 degrees in here.
Whoa.
The cats are really cold. There's icicles everywhere.
No, that's not true.
And, you know, my teeth are chattering. The kids are turning blue. But if this is the temperature you want it, honey, I guess I'll, you know, this is good enough for me. And
I keep it at 68 all year.
Even if you clearly can see that you're right and the other person is clearly wrong, you don't have to get your way all the time. You can just be like, you know what? I'm going to walk away knowing that I'm right, but he's still going to get his way. However, I know in my heart that I am actually correct on this. So you learn that, you know, just being civil and being kind to the person you love, and just, you know, being like, you know, we'll agree to disagree. That's actually that's better than you getting your way, you know. You don't always have to prove that you're right. You don't always have to, even if you are right, you don't even have to, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. Like, even if for 50 years they always think they're right about something, and then it turns out 50 years later you were always right. It doesn't matter. You don't have to prove anything, because you love them and they love you, so who cares who was right? That's what, you know, because chances are I'm probably wrong about some things that I always think I'm right about. Such as leaving the I left Luke a few drops of juice in the fridge, and he was unappreciative of it.
I mean,
he said that it wasn't enough for a glass. I told him I did leave him some.
It wasn't enough for a human. Like, maybe if you're a small little ant or something. Yeah, she does that a lot. She's done that for years, and it's cute, but sometimes if I go to the freezer and I want a Hot Pocket and there's an empty Hot Pocket box, and it's like, okay, one of them is empty, but then you find out there's 2 empty Hot Pocket boxes inside the fridge. It's like, no! Because it's like, the problem with me is when I crave food and I go to get it and then it's not there and just the empty box, the craving for the food has now been expedited even more, and it's like I can't have it, so I get annoyed. Same thing if there's like milk left in the fridge or something and there's no milk. Well, that's just something Amber told me, that when she was a kid, like her family did things different than, you know, most people, and Amber never like had a roommate in college, so she didn't, you know, go through that stuff. Everything that most people learn when they go to school, like in college and stuff, and they have like annoying roommates, that prepares you for when you live with somebody, pretty much. So
I would be mad at you for that, Miss Amber, and I'm not even married, so
yeah. That's one of Amber's little quirks.
I mean, I still do have an impatient streak in me, but I'm much more patient than I was.
She's much more patient.
And that's what it is. It's like, That's why marriage makes you holy and not necessarily happy. But if you become a better person, if you become holier, if you become a better person, you work on your flaws with someone who's the opposite of you, then as you become a better person being married, in the long run, not in the short run, in the short run you're not happy, because in the short run you're stuck with somebody who's completely opposite than you. You fall in love with them, you think this is the greatest thing ever, and then day one of marriage you realize, oh my gosh, this is never going to work because you're completely opposite.
Oh.
So it's like, that's why a lot of married couples don't make it past the first year, because they can't even do the work of they can't even do the work of learning where to set the thermostat, you know, how much money to spend on groceries, what kind of pets you're gonna have, what color you're gonna paint the walls of your house. These are and then you realize that these things do not even matter. Even if you did not get your way on every single one of these things, even if the other person got their way on every one of it, and they painted the walls horrible color and it looked awful, and they didn't listen to you.
I have a question.
Even if this happened, and all of their decisions are terrible, but they always get their way, even if this always happens, then, you know, you still enjoy being around them more than if you were alone, because you love them very much. They may think they're great at making decisions. They may be horrible at all the decisions they make. Every decision they make could be completely wrong. But you don't need to tell them that. You can just give them a hug and say, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, honey. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
If you could, I mean, they said we could paint this house. Would you prefer the house being white or blue? Like, if you could paint the walls, what color would you choose? Like, would you stay with white?
Why would I paint the walls white? Living in a insane asylum? Oh my gosh.
Okay. So you would go with blue then? Or you would pick a different color, like green or yellow?
I mean, that's why
I grew up with blue walls. Like, my bedroom had blue walls. Blue. Most of the house was blue. Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Nick's Galaxy. But yeah, it's
No.
But yeah, I mean, that's one of the best things about, and that's like where like for me, my Christian faith helps me in, I mean, you have to, like for me, it's like you need 3 people in your marriage. You need God, because say you have a disagreement and the other person is like, oh no, we're gonna do this, and you really don't want that, but you don't want to, like, you don't want to disagree, or you don't want there to be a problem, but you feel like, oh, I'm not, maybe the other person, they're not gonna budge, so for me, like, that's when I just, like, say I really wanted to paint the walls blue, but Luke went out and got a bunch of green paint, and he misheard me, or he really wanted it green, and I really didn't want it.
I don't like green walls.
But I'm just saying, like, and that's where, for me, like, I don't need to worry about it, even if, I feel like, oh, Luke's whole family, 50 people are coming over tomorrow or something, and I didn't like that. I didn't agree to that. I don't like it. It doesn't need to ruin your marriage. Like, you don't need to break up over something that is a disagreement. For me, like, if something is going on that I feel like, oh, this is not what I wanted, and I can't get out of this situation, all of Luke's family wants this, and I can't, I feel unheard or something, that's when I go and I pray to God, and I, tell him how I feel, and then I know somebody in my, somebody does hear me, so, like, and many times, like, when I do pray about things, even if everything seems to be going a certain way, and I don't you know, for me, like, as, you know, like Luke is the main owner of the business, and, you know, he has to make certain decisions, and it doesn't always go along with, you know, me getting a lot of music books or something like this, or sometimes his family is very influential. It might not always be something where I feel like I'm being heard and stuff. And it's like, I pray about it a lot, and then you're like, maybe I won't get my way this year, or I won't get my way immediately. Maybe people aren't listening to me, you know, like, sometimes, you know, in marriage, sometimes guys, they don't always, no offense, but they can't, sometimes they don't have as much empathy, and they can't understand what you're saying right away. You know, like, they might not hear, you know, you may say, I don't really want this, but in their mind they think, oh, it doesn't really matter, she'll be fine, but in reality you're not fine, you know what I mean? So, like, that's why prayer is so important. Like, you tell God how you're feeling, and then maybe they'll get their way at the beginning, but then in 5 years something really great happens for you, not because you argued to death or you forced your way, because God heard your prayer, and he made a way happen for you to, you know, to live closer to your family, or to get those music books or something. I'm just saying how I feel, that I feel that I think that having God in your marriage really makes it last, because if you don't have a third person in your marriage, if you don't have God, then when you discuss things and you don't get your way and you feel like you're not being heard, then you feel helpless, like you're being tugged along, and you have no influence, and you have no rights, or you have no say in anything, and everything is just spiraling out of control, and you have no, you know, you didn't want to move here, you didn't want to live here, you didn't want to do this for Christmas, and it can be very stressful. You can start to think, well, I don't have my own life, and you know, this is scary. But if you have God, then God will always be your advocate, even if your husband wasn't listening to you at the time because he was working, or because he was being influenced by his family or something. Even if he didn't hear you or whatever, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be mad at your husband then, because he's a guy. You can just tell God, and then God will fight for you, and then he'll make it happen so that you get what you need. And that has happened a lot. Like, you know, instead of getting upset, like, oh, I didn't get to do this thing I really wanted, you know, just pray about it, and then in a couple of years something really great will happen. You know, you just have to be patient. That's what I honestly believe. Personally. I'm sorry for getting into it.
You didn't do anything wrong. I'm just dying a lot because this is...
I can get off on the monkey.
No. Jetpack needed. Survival. Imperative. Survival very important.
Oh, thank you, Rare Bear says, I'm glad I discovered you guys in the past 24 hours. I needed this. Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind.
Yeah, we do a wide variety of stuff that we talk about.
When I was a kid, I did fun activities in school, like a carnival, and also hanging out with my... And back in 2016, I ended up in the hospital. I was shot. I'm sorry. Oh, wow. Thank you for being a member for 2 months, Dark Alexis, and thank you for the highlighted message. I'm so sorry you were in the hospital.
So you got shot.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's one thing that, like, people who are, you know, like, we have a lot of haters that are atheists, and they say, well, you know, Luke isn't, like, Amber was trying to say something to Luke about dinner, and he didn't hear her because he was playing a game on the stream, and then they'll be like, this is horrible, she's being oppressed, but in reality, I'm never oppressed because I always have God, you know, like, whenever I pray, even if Luke didn't hear me on the stream because he's working, you know, God will make a way that I can have something I really want, because he always hears me. So that's what I have to say.
Well, I have.
Luke can hear me when he's just a human being, though. He can't hear everything I'm saying all the time.
Well, ADD people miss things all the time, but like, I have a religious side of my family, and I have an atheist or agnostic side of my family. The Portuguese side of my family is like very, I guess you would call them very worldly, but they're sweet, and they love Amber. Like Amber got to finally meet some of the cousins and stuff at my grandma's funeral, and they loved Amber to death. So I regret not introducing her to the non-religious side of my family, because I mean we don't see each other very much because we're all over the country. The religious side is very close, and the non-religious side is very close too, but they're all like scattered all over the United States, so they only really get together for like big funerals or like that one family barbecue like every year. Because after my Uncle John died in like 2005, I think it was, like the family just didn't really get together a lot, and my grandma, she made it the habit after her brother died is she called all the grandnieces and grandnephews and nephews and cousins, and she would sing happy birthday to the entire family. So many people wanted to come to grandma's funeral, but they couldn't. So apparently they have a yearly barbecue that lasts like 2 days. And they all come from all over the United States, like the big Portuguese family that I've told you guys in stories. Like the EMTs, the police officers, the firefighters. One of the EMTs was there that Amber met, my cousin Donna, and one of the doctors or the nurses, my cousin Linda. And they loved talking to Amber. It made me, I was very depressed over my grandma, you know, the burial was that day. And then we had the memorial service at my uncle's house, which me and my uncle weren't expecting them to do that, but you know, they kind of did that, and it was hard for me. I was in the room with the pictures and stuff, so my mind was drifting somewhere else. But Amber was hanging out with the family, and the Portuguese ladies were like, you know, just gobbling her up, and it made me really happy to see that, because I in the back of my mind I always thought that Amber would really get along with like the non-religious side of the family. But I just, they're not around very much.
Even before the funeral, like I told Luke, like, I really want to spend time with your family because I think it would be really important for me. And Luke was kind of like, oh, well, we're just going to kind of go there and get out of there so we get back to work. But, you know, like for me, I prayed about it a lot because I really wanted to make relationships.
And I got super nauseous, so there was no way we could leave.
So even though Luke may have not wanted to do certain things, and for his business he wanted to do certain things, you know, God heard what I needed, and God took care of me. God made a way that I could make relationships with Luke's family.
I got so sick.
So that's why it says in the Bible that husbands are supposed to listen to their wives, because if husbands don't listen to their wives, God will listen to their wives. Like when a husband doesn't listen to his wife, God listens, and then God makes whatever she asks for. If it's within God's will, like God will go and advocate for her. So that's why, like, you know, it's people, you know, that's why, you know, like it's different in Christian marriage than non-religious, because in Christian marriage God really does look out for you know, for if a person who's not feels like they're not being heard, or if the family, like say you're around somebody else's family and there's 50 of them and you're alone and you're married to them and everyone is trying to influence you, as long as you keep praying and trusting God, he'll take care of you and look out for you even if you're alone. That is very true. Like you don't have to feel like you're being oppressed or pushed in a certain way, because God will always make a way for you.
Yeah, I had different plans, and well, it didn't work out that well for me.
That's why I don't worry. That's why I don't worry with Luke's ADD. If he can't hear me, I know God will hear me. You know, if I was like, you know, Luke, we haven't had fish in a long time for dinner, you know, and Luke's like, I really had like hot dogs again, and I'm just like, well, you know, that's why, like, I feel like for me, for my, you know, faith in God, I really do pray about everything, because it's just like, you know, it's just you know, not that I always want my way all the time, but, you know, you just, you don't have to worry if they don't, you know, if your spouse doesn't agree with you or if they don't hear what you're saying. You don't need to worry about it, because God always does hear you.
I agree. Ah. But mostly, like, just so everybody knows, like, the most important thing for a couple, even if you're not religious, is, because Amber's more religious than I am, communication is key. Like, I try to talk to Amber as much as I can, even with my ADD, which gets me in trouble a lot, because I will say something, and I didn't mean to say that to hurt her feelings or whatever, but I give her hugs every day. I tell her she's important, she matters to me, and I try to use my ears to listen as best I can, because my wife is a lot more religious than I am, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think there's any problem with that. I think God knows Amber's special and that she's very, very close to her faith, more than I am, but at the same time, we've always tried to discuss things and talk to each other as best we can, and Amber has a lot of patience dealing with an ADD person. 'Cause I make a lot of mistakes.
Thank you, Justo, for the gifted membership.
Thank you, Justo.
Thank you very much. I have to depend on God more because I'm small.
No, please don't.
Yeah, I understand how you feel, Miss Deanna. Luke has he has difficulty getting to church because of his pain, but also he has emotional things with church as well. It's hard for him to be there as well because of things that have happened.
I grew up as a PK, that's all you need to know.
So, I mean, I completely understand what you're saying about, yeah, I completely understand what you're saying, Miss Deanna.
My wife and I had different experiences at church. I did not have the best experiences at church when I was a kid. But I still believe, I'm just not as religious, I would say. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
I am terrible news, but I am not sad. A family member passed, and I don't know why I'm not sad, says Gaming.
I'm sorry, Gaming.
It's okay.
Everybody deals with grief differently, buddy. There's nothing wrong with you.
It's okay,
like some people will be very sad and cry. Some people will feel like I didn't cry at my grandma's funeral at all, and I was very close. The only woman. I mean, it was close to my mom, but I'm closer to my dad. Amber is the person that I'm the closest to in the world, and Grandma was like my second mom growing up. Dang it. And I didn't cry at the funeral, but what happened was when I was in the room where my grandma's stuff was, and you know, we had the memorial service and the mug that we got her that she had the day she died and things like that. It made me very very withdrawn. I was quieter than normal. I was deep in thought. It brought back a flood of memories. I could hear my grandma's voice looking at her picture, and I remembered there was a lot of nostalgic things that were in the room, and it just, like, especially with how I remember my grandma looking the most in the 80s and 90s, you know, like that type of, like, how she was.
I mean, yeah.
I didn't cry, but I was, you know, I was sad.
Some people never cry at funerals. Like, some people just don't cry.
Yeah.
Like, some people just don't feel... I mean, when my, like, when my grandma and grandpa both passed away when I was in high school. And I felt very sad when my grandfather passed away, but when my grandma passed away, I really didn't feel sad because I didn't really know her very well. Like, I didn't really hang out with her very well. I always sat next to my grandpa when he was having his cereal. My grandma was always doing laundry and stuff. I was sad when she passed away. I mean, it's like I felt intellectually sad, but I didn't feel emotionally sad, I guess.
That's an interesting way
Like,
of saying it.
I did miss her, but I didn't, like, feel sadness in my heart like I probably should have, but I think years later I felt sad about it.
Yeah, years later you did.
I think it takes me a while as well, like, I don't...
Everybody's not wired the same,
Like,
so
no,
everyone doesn't deal with things
It's
the same.
okay if you don't cry or if you don't feel sad right away, like, because for me it takes a while to even realize that the person's even gone, because I still talk, I mean, I'm kind of a freak because I still, there's people that have passed away that I still, in a way I pretend that they're still around because I just can't deal with the fact that they're gone, like, it's very disturbing to me, so I just... But yeah, like my grandfather and grandma passed away and they lived in Texas. I hardly saw them at all, so I didn't really feel very much sadness. I think the only thing I felt sad about was the fact that I didn't really get to know them very much. So, yeah. But yeah, you're okay, Gaming. It's not like...
There's nothing wrong.
I mean, it's just like, especially like if it's... I mean, if it's like an aunt or uncle you didn't really even know very much, I mean, then, you know, I mean, it really has to do with, like, how, like, if you haven't really known, like, I have family that I've hardly seen, and, or even family that you didn't really get to know very much, or didn't have, like, a strong emotional attachment, you know, then you might not feel sad, yeah.
This is so hard.
Yeah, Raspberry was saying he and his girlfriend and him, like, they have different ways that they want to have the TV and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his girlfriend likes it low, but he likes it on 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, William says, you're correct, Tamara. Also, when you don't have God in marriage, it can make it self-centered. Yeah, that's what I agree with, William. It's, I mean, I think that it's good when people that aren't religious, I think they get married. I think it's good for people to get married, whether you're religious or not. But I think having God in your marriage helps so much to help you remember that, you know, there's another person that can hear you. If you feel like you're not being heard, then there's a third person that can hear you. And it's very important. It really is. In the Bible it says love one another, says Cassie. That's true. Alright, see you later, Maximus.
Oh my
Hi,
gosh.
Saban. Hi, everyone.
I made it.
Oh.
Ah! Why? Why are they shooting at me? Why?
Yeah, if you know someone for a long time, your emotions can be high, but if you know someone less, then their emotions can be low. That's true, Max. I'm not Portuguese, actual Ren, but Luke is part Portuguese.
I'm
yeah.
part Portuguese. Yes.
But he doesn't look it.
No.
He looks more...
I look like my dad.
He looks more Irish. Everyone in Luke's family, even Luke's mom and sister, look Portuguese.
Yeah. Yep.
Luke has the genes of his dad, so he looks...
I stood out at the funeral a lot. I don't... even my sister's husband looks Portuguese, even though he's not. I think he's... I don't know what he is.
I don't know.
But, yeah, I stick out like a sore thumb. And so does my dad, because my dad was a blue-eyed, blonde... Wait, blue-eyed.
You guys
That doesn't make any sense.
You guys don't look Portuguese.
No. Well, no, he's not. I mean, he's Irish and German or whatever.
You guys don't look Portuguese.
My dad is he stands out.
Portuguese people, they kind of look Spanish or Italian.
That's
like,
why I thought I was Spanish growing up.
They look Portuguese people look Hispanic or Italian. That's what they look like.
Yep.
You know, they look Hispanic or Italian. That's basically the best way to describe what they look like. So, you know, if they definitely have you know, if you're Portuguese, you will look Portuguese. Like, very clear. That's what you look like.
There's so much death. There's so much death. Oh, can't do this. I will do this, but I don't want to do this.
Oh, you were adopted by your grandparents? Oh wow, Raspberry. I spoke to Jesus to take care of her to my grandma. Inside my heart, I miss my grandma. She's in heaven for me, says Zach. Yeah. I also prayed for my mom when she passed away, Zach. I was reading the Psalms and my mom was passing away and holding her hand, and yep, I believe your grandma's in heaven, Zach.
This is bad.
I'm sorry.
This is bad. This is bad. This is very, very bad.
Well, I'm sorry for talking about personal stuff.
No, the gameplay is bad. You're fine. I'm frustrated.
Portuguese are very passionate and have tasty food, says Miss Dana. I know there are large Portuguese communities on the East Coast, the same way how there are large Italian communities in the East Coast. Both of them have affinity towards tomatoes, fish, and spicy food. Yep, we've got a lot of fish.
And chicken and rice. Yeah. Chicken and rice. Doggone it! There's a lot of Portuguese people in the New York City area. But they've also migrated now to Maryland, and there's a big Portuguese community in Connecticut. And the Poconos has a lot of Portuguese people. A lot. Most of my family's from the Poconos. Like the Portuguese side. They left New York in the 90s. Doggone it.
I will have to say I disagree with you. I think that your sister's husband does not look Portuguese.
He's Italian, maybe.
But you and him and your dad were like the only people that didn't look Portuguese in that entire place.
Stood out.
There was only one other person that didn't look Portuguese, and that's me.
I was gonna say the minister.
Yeah, the minister was from India.
Yes, the minister was from India. Yep.
I can read Spanish, but I can't read Portuguese. Oh wow, Miss Dan, that's really cool.
Well, Sonic, one of the people in our chat is from Portugal. Like, he's actually from Portugal. So that's why he leaves at certain times of night, is because it's very, very late where he is in Portugal. Oops, there.
Yeah, Luke grew up 45 minutes from New York City.
Yep.
The actual Ren. He did grow up very close to New York City. The city that Luke's grandparents lived in that he grew up in was 40 minutes from New York City. So
depending on traffic, it's 45, 30 minutes. Depends.
All depends.
My uncle works in New York City. A lot of my family members work in New York City.
Yeah,
Yep. Most of my cousins are part of NYPD, and their jobs are EMTs in New York and New Jersey. And my one cousin opened a restaurant in New Jersey, and he migrated to New Jersey, so he doesn't even live in New York anymore. He actually lives near Newark. And we found out that the restaurant that we thought he worked at, he owns. So it's like, wow.
You're a Londoner, actual Ren? So that's cool. I'm a Londoner myself. So you live in London? That's very cool.
I lost so many lives. So many lives were lost.
I'm sorry, Captain Zach says I pray a lot and I miss my grandparents a lot.
That's normal. You're fine, buddy.
It's hard. Captain Zach, somebody told me at my mom's funeral something that made me feel better. I don't know if it would make you feel better, but I just looked like I was going to die at my mom's funeral. I just looked like I was going to collapse on the floor because I was just so sad. And like I even told Luke and even people there, I said I don't know how I'm going to survive without my mom. And a lady came up to me at the funeral, and she just saw that I was in complete sadness, and I was just standing there completely hopeless. And she just said, you know, she said, when your loved ones pass away, she said, then they're in heaven, and then they can see everything you're going through every day. They can see everything. They can see everything you're struggling with. They can see you at your job, and you know, they're up in heaven, so they can look down on you, and they can see that you're at your job, you're working hard, and you know, if someone's mean to you at work or something or whatever, like, they can know much better about how to pray for you. So she was saying that when your loved ones pass away, they can see everything, and also God tells them everything about, like, all the things you couldn't tell your grandma, or all the things that you've been struggling with, like if you had a bully at school, or if people were really mean to you about this or that. Like, God can tell them all those things. Like, you know, like, Zach really needs prayer about this. Like, he really needs someone to pray for him about this, because he's struggling with this, or this is hard for him every day, and he has to deal with this every day, and this is really hard. And then your grandma can, who loves you very much, can pray for you. Even better, this is what the lady told me, that your loved one that went to heaven can pray for you even better when they're in heaven, because they know more about everything you're dealing with. They know everything. And when my mom passed away, there was so many things that I wanted to tell her that I never got to explain. Like, there was so many things that, like, I needed to tell her, and I didn't know how to explain to her. And when my mom passed away, like, as soon as, like, they said, you know, she's gone and she had passed away, like, a little bit after that, I felt in my heart that my mom knew all the things, everything that I wanted to tell my mom. Like, I could feel that she knew it, like, that she could feel that she understood what I was trying to tell her, but I didn't get to tell her. So yeah, so, like, your grandma, because your grandma's in heaven, Zach, I know that your grandma loves you a lot, so every day your grandma can pray to God for help for you.
Let's switch gears a little bit. Somebody had a question. Did we meet in school? No. We met at church. And then when I was dating my wife, I used to bother her at her college. I technically went to the same college as her without even realizing it, and I spent more time hanging out with her than I did going to my classes, and eventually I left school anyway because I didn't really like school. I preferred to work, so. But Amber loves school. I met her in 2000 and... Did I meet you in 2002 or 2003? Because we started dating in 2003, but I had to meet you beforehand. I think. Unless I was that bold and just, like, I met you in 03 and then automatically started dating you so quickly. I really had that amount of courage? Guess I did. Shoot!
I thought our first date was in February 2003.
Probably sounds about right, yeah. So then we met in January? Or did we meet in... Did we meet in 2020... Or 2002? Or did we meet in 2003? Do you remember?
We didn't meet... We met at Luke's... I mean, we didn't meet at a church, technically. It was a building that there... I mean, it was a church, but it was a church that was used as a building for a school.
Loophole.
And other things that my dad did. My dad actually did maintenance on that entire building.
Yeah.
My dad used to take me to practice my piano because I was in college for music. For my associate's degree. And Luke heard me playing the piano, and he was helping his mom, who also, the building was huge. Like, it was
a pretty big building, yeah.
So I never had met, like, Luke's mom or anything, or any of those, or the other side of that building that at a school. But Luke was helping his mom that day, volunteering, was taking a little kid to the bathroom, and then he heard me playing my piano, and then he just came in with a little kid and was seeing who was playing the piano. And then it was me, so.
Yes, it was you.
And then he, I think, because he said he didn't want to. I don't know. From what I heard, he was too nervous to ask me out, so he just asked me if I would like to come to church.
Yeah.
Randomly.
I was nervous.
So, and my family was looking for a new church because there was a problem with the church my family was at. They were having like a split or something at the church, so you know, we were looking for a new church, and so, you know, that week actually my family had decided, well, I sort of promised Luke that I would visit him, like, oh, okay, I can come to church, and then I told my parents, like, oh, I kind of promised this person I met, like, that I would visit their church, which I kind of wanted to call you and tell you, oh, I can't, because my parents were going to visit another church. But I couldn't call you and tell you that because I didn't have your phone number, because I just mentioned that I'd probably come by.
Yeah.
So then I had to come to church, and then I was just like, oh, great, I'll just get this over with. And so then I showed up, and then I was pretty nervous. I was there by my own, so my parents said I could just walk home. They went to another church, and then I went there, and
why is the music all ominous for this story? Oh no. He's mad they ate the bananas. Oh my goodness.
And
I know. We got the weird part of the game going on. Yeah, he's harder than the first boss, but he's similar. Yeah, I know. Do the best I can. Oh crap, this might take us a little time.
So then when I was there, I was like, well, we'll just get this over with, and then I felt super uncomfortable, and I was like, well, I told this guy I was gonna visit his church, and I did, and then I was like sitting there alone, and I was like, well, I guess I'm getting out of here after this. And
how did you get home? Did you really walk? Did I not give you a ride?
I'm pretty sure I walked home.
Oh wow. Never hardcore. Ah! There's no way.
So yeah, I just yeah, like Luke just well, basically I mean I don't really want,
That's fine.
It was a long story. Luke asked me out when I was at church. I tried to get out the door, and Luke asked me out.
Yeah.
Luke got me before I could get out.
I did.
It was a one chance in a million that we could have ended up together. Luke was about to leave in a few weeks for going to Florida.
I had a job offer. Yeah.
I was about to leave for Chicago for college, so there was a one chance in a million we could have met. It was definitely, you know, it was definitely meant to be, like, because, you know, it was definitely Providence, because in a week Luke would have been gone, and I would have been gone in a couple weeks as well. And it was only one chance in a million we would have met each other.
Oh! I'm supposed to duck? Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Give me that heart. Thank you. Yeah, this is a hard guy. You're gonna... Ah!
That's why I always tell people, like, people are always worried about meeting people. It's like, you could meet your future spouse at the post office. You could meet them mailing a letter. You could meet them while getting Starbucks. don't have to go to bars and sit there for hours waiting to meet somebody. You know, just walking around, you can randomly meet the person you're destined to be with. So you don't need to worry about, you know, forcing it to happen, because it'll just happen, you know.
Yep. You can even meet people at the grocery store, you don't know. Alright, this is his last phase. But he's gonna be crazier now.
That's very sweet. Thanks, Richard. So I put an angel on it just for you, Luke. That's very kind, Richard.
Amber's very special to me. Missed! And what is he doing? He's running at me. Oh.
Your parents met in a similar fashion. That's awesome, actual Ren. Hi, Jason, Kim, and Eurosong. Hi, everyone.
What's his plan? He's gonna... Okay. I'm still alive. Now what? Now what, you punker? What's going on? Oh. Ah, no. He's laughing at me. No, 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 no. Amber, could you hit the A button?
Okay.
Where's the monkey? Where's the monkey? No, no! Darn it!
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, you met your girlfriend in martial arts? That's awesome, Raspberry. That's really cool.
Gotta do this again. The problem is I don't have very many. Don't have a lot of lives to do this. It's a pain in the neck. He's a very hard boss fight. He's annoying. One false mistake and you're toast. Shoot. Because he doesn't drop hearts very much. Like it's a rarity that this guy will drop hearts. Next phase.
Oh, that's really cool, Raspberry. So she was sparring with me, and I ended up using the shoulder throw on me, which sent me tumbling, and then I started to talk to her more, and her sensei supported us. That's really cool, Raspberry.
Oh, come on.
Alright, thank you, Richard, for the super chat. This is my mom met my dad.
No, you're fine.
My mom met my dad because he worked at the apartment my mom lived at. He came to change the light bulb at her apartment, and the rest is history. That's really cute. And I met my girlfriend through our church. That's awesome, Richard.
Please give me a heart. Give me a heart. Next phase. Last phase. I'm getting to the second phase now pretty quickly. Nuts! Get the heart. Good. Good, good, good.
It's so cute. That's how my cousin Langstrom met with her husband, JP. That's my wedding my family and I went to last summer in South Jersey. Their reception was in Philadelphia. That's awesome,
nice.
Miss Deanna. That's really cool. I love Philadelphia.
Yes, you do.
I like it. It has an aquarium.
It does have an aquarium.
I meet no one, unfortunately. I hope I found someone smart and nice wife, but first I need to get out of the house, this Kwing.
Got it!
Aww.
Wow, that was a pain. That was super annoying. Oh.
You will meet someone smart and nice and awesome, Kwing, because you're smart and nice and awesome.
There we go, guys. We did it. Woot! And thank you guys for the super chats. You were breathtaking. Thank you so much.
That's a very sweet story about your mom and dad, Richard, and also you and your girlfriend. Like Kwing, like attracts like, so you know you're a very kind person that we all care about you a lot, and you're good to all of us and a good friend to all of us. So you know, I know that there's someone wonderful out there for you, Kwing.
We're gonna wrap this up and send people over to Dynasty Warriors, okay? Alright, people. So next up will be the factory. That'll be tomorrow, which the factory is nasty. We died a lot today. There was a lot of death. There was a lot. But factory will be next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you still want to hang out with us, we're going to be looking at the brand spanking new Dynasty Warriors game, which is a game that has a lot of voice acting. So probably won't be a lot of commentary from us, but who knows, there might, especially when we're like fighting waves of enemies. But we both love Dynasty Warriors, so we're curious to see what this new Dynasty Warriors Origins thing is about. The stream will start when it's at 40 likes. It's currently at 20 likes, so we're just waiting on 20 more likes in order to begin. And then, of course, Arkham will be later tonight. But thank you guys so much for the super chats. There were so many of you, so I can't name everybody off. But we really appreciate your generosity. And we'll see you guys on Dynasty Warriors. Donkey Kong will resume tomorrow. God bless, happy gaming. See you in a bit.